Here's the result for the guy you filled out the survey for. He gets a C+. plus. This guy is rather so-so. Not too good, not too bad. Welcome to the Strong Brew, where you get answers to questions you're not supposed to ask. These are some things you may want to know about the man in your life. If you do really well in your career, will he become insecure? Will he try and use money to control you? Will he share housework or just make you do it all? In fights, when he gets angry, does he get aggressive? During intimacy, does he understand that no means no? Is he jealous, suspicious, or possessive? Will his attitude towards you change after having kids? Will he treat your parents with respect? What if you have conflicts with his parents? We tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. These are things nobody else will tell you. Things that are important for your future. This is a safe space for truth. No judgment, no platitudes, no login, no payment either. Our questions are from real life, but our answers come from science. Now, I built this thing, me and my husband, and honestly, we built it and we live it. We are both Stanford grads, we both have worked at Google, and we've been happily together since 1998. Along the way, we've added a son, now 13, and 4 dogs. We are genuine folks. If you're a woman trying to understand any man in your life, here is how it works. Go to www.thestrongbrew.life. Click on the Understand a Guy button there. Answer 10 questions about him. Watch a video tailored to your guy. That's all there is to it. It is completely anonymous, no login, no payment, no games, no manipulation. This analysis is obtained by combining solid trait psychology with cutting edge AI ML. We represent each person's personality with what is known as a feature vector. This has 10 elements, so our data is effectively 10-dimensional data. In case you're wondering how we can infer so much from just 10 questions, well, 10-dimensional data is very complex. There is a lot you can learn from that level of detail.
Okay, I think that does it for the preamble. Now let's plunge in. Let's start with this guy in his career. Will he go far or just talk big?
He is much more of a doer than a talker, but he is better at steady work than rising fast in his career. You'll see him put his efforts into his daily tasks and maybe get praised for that, but he isn't the type to push hard for top positions or take big risks. If you want stability, he brings that.
Can he bounce back from failure?
When problems show up at work, he tends to keep calm and not lose his temper, but he pulls away instead of facing things directly. You won't see him yelling or blaming others. He'll likely stay polite and quiet, maybe even avoid talking about the issue. He isn't quick to bounce back, and he may need more time alone before he's ready to deal with things again.
What do people at work think of him? Do they like him?
People at work usually find him polite and easy to get along with because he doesn't like to argue or stir up fights. He isn't the warmest or most caring person, so he may not have many close friends at work, but he avoids trouble and treats people with respect. You probably won't hear bad stories about him losing his cool or gossiping.
If you do really well in your career, will he become insecure?
If you do really well in your career, he's unlikely to make a big fuss or show lots of excitement, but he won't feel threatened or insecure either. He'll quietly respect your efforts and probably show his support in small, polite ways. Expect quiet support and gentle respect rather than loud cheers or envy.
What if you start earning more than him?
He is unlikely to resent you or feel insecure if you earn more than him. He keeps his pride in check and won't make snide comments or try to bring you down. Instead, he stays calm and polite, treating your success as something separate from his own worth.
Next, let's talk about how he is with money. Does he overspend? Is he reckless with money?
He is not the most organized when it comes to money, so he might not always plan or track where every rupee goes. However, he works hard for what he earns and will try to spend on things that matter to him, especially anything beautiful or enjoyable. He's unlikely to splurge on big, showy things just to impress.
Does he show off and pretend to be richer than he is?
He mostly lives within his means and doesn't put on a show to look richer than he really is. He enjoys spending on things that are pleasant or beautiful But he doesn't go overboard or buy big things just for status. If you want someone real and not caught up in appearances, he fits that picture quite well.
Is he too generous, too stingy, or just right?
He may not be the most warm or openly kind hearted person, but he isn't stingy either. When it comes to money, he's willing to spend on things that genuinely matter, like making the home more pleasant or buying something nice for people he cares about. He is fair and steady, not tight fisted, but not overly giving either.
Will he use money to try and control you?
He is neither very open nor controlling when it comes to money. He keeps things polite and calm, but he may not always share every detail about his spending or financial plans. Overall, you can expect quiet honesty, not secrets or power games, but also not lots of sharing unless you bring it up.
Let's see how this guy is with sharing housework. Will he share housework or just make you do it?
He isn't very organized in daily life, so he might not notice housework right away or stick to routines, but he won't expect you to do everything alone. He works hard in his own way and won't demand that you handle every chore just because you're a woman. If you ask for help or set a plan together, he'll likely do his part without fuss, though he may need gentle reminders.
Will he help you or just boss you around and tell you what to do?
He's not the type to just stand and watch while you do all the work. When you ask, he will quietly pitch in and do what's needed, though he might need a gentle nudge if he forgets or gets distracted. Overall, you can expect him to share in the real work, not just supervise from the side.
Now let's see about how this guy is during fights. In fights, does he try to understand your views or just win the fight?
He isn't quick to argue or push to prove himself right. Instead, when you bring up your side, he will usually listen quietly and politely without starting a fight or raising his voice. Sometimes he may become a bit distant or quiet rather than truly opening up, but he isn't stubborn or harsh.
Does he become aggressive when angry?
When he's angry, he tends to stay calm and doesn't say hurtful things or act aggressively. He's not the type to raise his voice, use sharp words, or slam doors. You won't have to worry about angry outbursts or being made to feel small.
Does he have a bad temper?
He is not someone who gets angry quickly. In fact, he keeps his temper in check and doesn't lose control over small things or even when stressed. He prefers to keep things calm and rarely shows strong outbursts.
Will he say sorry and accept his mistakes?
He is the sort who quietly accepts when he's made a mistake rather than blaming you. He may not always be quick with a big sorry or a long explanation, but he doesn't shift the blame or try to make you feel guilty for something he did. You won't have to fear finger pointing or being unfairly blamed.
Next, let's talk about intimacy and physical chemistry. During intimacy, does he respect your boundaries? Does he get that no means no?
Yes, he is likely to respect your boundaries and understands that no means no. He values politeness and doesn't want to upset or force anyone. If you tell him firmly that something is not okay for you, he will accept it without pushing or making you feel guilty. Your comfort truly matters to him.
If you are not in the mood for intimacy, will he react badly?
He is not the kind of man who takes it personally if you're not in the mood for intimacy. He might become a bit quiet or withdraw into himself, but he won't argue, get sulky, or guilt trip you about it. Your no is safe with him, and he values your comfort over pushing his own desires.
Can you trust him not to shame you or share your private moments, maybe love letters, photos, or videos, even after a breakup or a bad fight?
Yes, you can trust him to handle private moments with care and respect. He's not the type to use your secrets or private experiences against you, even during a disagreement. You may find him quiet about personal things, but this also means he will keep them safe and private.
Is he loyal or is he likely to want to have affairs?
He's more likely to be faithful than to chase after other women. He isn't especially outgoing or in search of excitement, and he values calm and steady connections over drama. If you give him respect and a peaceful home, he will quietly return that loyalty.
Will he be jealous, suspicious, and try to control you?
No, he's not the type to be over possessive or controlling. He doesn't get easily jealous and he rarely suspects you without reason. If anything, he might be more reserved and quiet than possessive.
This guy says he is protective in a good way. Is he actually just being possessive?
No, his protective side is not about being controlling. He doesn't have the habit of hovering over you or making rules about where you go and who you meet. Instead, his care comes through in quiet respect and giving you space to be yourself.
Now, onto the topic of kids and how this guy will be as a father. If you guys have kids, will he make you do most of the work?
He is unlikely to expect you to handle all of the parenting on your own, but he may not always notice what needs to be done unless you point it out. He'll help when asked and won't shy away from his share, but he might not take the lead or be very proactive. If you talk about what you need and set routines together, he will join in without arguing or making excuses.
Kids are very messy. Will he lose his temper with them?
When the kids mess up or get upset, he will almost always stay calm. He doesn't have a quick temper and prefers to keep things peaceful. So, shouting or punishing harshly isn't his way. You can trust him to be a steady, safe presence, even when things go wrong.
If you guys have kids, will he still support your career?
Yes, he will quietly support you as both a mother and your own person. He isn't the type to put you in a box or expect you to only focus on family. He respects your independence and doesn't get jealous or threatened if you have goals or interests outside the home.
Will this man say one thing early on, maybe while dating, and then later, after kids and marriage, change his tune and try to make you give up your career?
No, he is not the kind of man who will pretend to support your career, now just to ask you to quit later. He respects your choices and won't pressure you to give up your job after having a child. You can trust that his support is quiet and honest, not a trick or hidden demand for later.
Next, let's see how this guy treats your parents. Will he be respectful with your parents?
He is likely to be very polite and respectful to your parents, but may not show deep warmth or open affection. He'll greet them kindly, speak to them with good manners, and avoid any conflicts or rude behavior, making sure they feel comfortable. Still, you can count on him to always treat them well and never cause them discomfort. He is much more likely to quietly adjust to your family than to expect them to change for him.
What if your family creates stress or interferes a bit in your lives?
If your family creates stress or tries to interfere, he will handle it calmly and avoid making things worse. He is not the type to start arguments, raise his voice, or add fuel to the fire. Instead, he will keep his cool, act politely, and might even step back a bit to let temper settle.
Then let's analyze the role this guy's family will play in your life. Is this man modern with you but a completely different person when other people, say his parents or bosses, are around?
No, he is not likely to expect you to suddenly change and become a traditional supportive wife just for his relatives. He respects your way of being and doesn't have double standards for public and private life. You can be yourself both at home and with his family without fear of being asked to pretend.
If there is tension between you and his parents, will he support you?
If there's tension, he is most likely to stay quietly by your side rather than get involved in arguments or take anyone else's side. He doesn't like conflict, so he won't speak up loudly or fight on your behalf, but he won't leave you to face things alone either. You can trust him to stand with you, though often in a quiet and calm manner.
Say you have a conflict with his mother, what will this guy do?
He is not what you would call a mummy's boy. He respects his mother, but he also values peace and doesn't blindly follow anyone's wishes. If you have a conflict with his mother, he won't rush to take sides or raise his voice, but he also won't leave you alone or make you feel less important. Instead, he will try to avoid open fights and keep things calm.
Will he share all the private details of your relationship with his mother or sister?
He is not the type to share every detail of your fights or your private life with his mother or sister. He values privacy and keeps personal matters between the two of you rather than seeking advice or sympathy from his family for every small issue. You won't have to worry about your secrets or disagreements being discussed behind your back.
Now let's zoom out and put it all together.
Based on all of this analysis, this guy gets a C plus. This guy is so so. Not too good, not too bad, a bit mediocre. Being in a relationship with this man means living with someone who is steady, polite, and hardworking, but also a bit quiet and private. Day to day, you can count on him to handle his responsibilities and avoid drama. He won't raise his voice or pick fights, and he respects your space.